Hey guys, Tisha here, and we are back with another Basketball Wives of Orlando review. Before I get started, do me a favor, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I normally say that for the end, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it now, just in case you forget. So, this episode, once again, I'm a little disappointed. I feel like we started off so up here, and little by little it's just doing like this because certain things to me are being drawn out, or it's just stuff I do not care about, if I'm being honest. So we're gonna go ahead, and the episode was going all over the place, so I'm gonna try to do like main character by main character. That way I don't have to keep jumping back and forth, because it was a lot of jumping back and forth here. So we see Nikki and Neek are meeting up at Nikki's house, which I guess that they really squashed things, since now Neek is over there hanging out. They speak about what happened, because the previous night, I guess, Neek had saw that Nikki was intoxicated and she was online talking badly about both Mulan and her ex Phr. I'm confused because Nikki already did this one time. So is this yet another instance where this was done? Or did they just exclude the part about her talking about Phr when they previously discussed this? We then hear Neek saying, like, what is it that you need? Because it seems like you need to have closure with Phr. She claims that she doesn't need to have closure with him, but as she's saying this, she begins to cry, saying that she spent like the prime years of her life with this man, and as a result, she doesn't trust men. I'm gonna say this much, not trying to sound insensitive, but this is not the first female who has been heartbroken by a man. And it's not going to be the last. And it doesn't even just have to be man and female. It could be female, female, male, male, whatever. The point is, unfortunately, there are a lot of cheaters in this world. And at some point in time, some of us are going to experience it and some of us aren't. But what I want her to do is I want her to get help and stop going to the internet, because I remember even when he released all the stuff about, his preferences and the BDSM and things of that nature, she was one of the first people who had something to say on Twitter about being embarrassed and all this other stuff. It doesn't have anything to do with you, so why are you including yourself? That's the end of that scene. We then have Mulan, who has not talked to Neek since the disagreement happened at after the cancer event. I don't understand why she hasn't talked to Neek, because if it's being said that you've relayed certain information about your friend that was hurtful to your friend, the first thing that you should do is you should reach out to your friend and try to rectify the situation, which lets me know that Mulan is just as guilty of being messy the same way Megan is. She's at Ashley's store because she said she's not really feeling that great and she just needs something to boost her spirits. So what better than some retail therapy that we've all been speaking about in various comments, basically is weighing her down. We find out that when she was 18, she got a BBL and now she wants it reduced. This is bigger than just simply taking a thing out. And I wrote that in my notes before even seeing what the doctor has said. You have to really be careful about the choices that you make with your body, because what people fail to realize is a lot of those things were experimental. A lot of those things, they still don't know what all the long-term effects are of them, and it can destroy your body. Ashley apparently went through a similar situation because she also had butt shots done. They showed a picture of it. It wasn't anything really drastic, but she was able to get a good amount of it removed. She said like a lot of that is exercise and stuff like that, but I don't think Ashley was really listening to her, because it's obvious that she's an athlete and she's athletic. She's saying that she works out and it's not being reduced, that her stomach has been reduced, but her butt isn't. So she would need more than just a workout. We later see Mulan get the consultation to find out about getting the reduction on her butt. This surgeon that she goes to did a reduction on her breast for her. So she feels comfortable with him and she feels like this is the person that she wants to use to take care of her butt issue. As soon as they talk about things, he jumps right into it and he said, what's inside of your butt? So we find out that she had fat put in there as well as hydrogen gel shots. She tells him that what made her want to do this was social media, along with the guy that she was dating. Like, he kind of encouraged her to do it. And I wish that people wouldn't make these type of decisions. It's your body, move accordingly. Her doctor says that this is part of the reason why he does not allow for boyfriends to pick out what size a lady's breast should be or anything that she's getting augmented, because a lot of times his surgery lasts longer than the relationship does. He tells her, after looking at her, that this would be a deforming surgery because what she has is liquid, and that liquid has been injected into various muscle. Well, not muscle. He just said it has been injected into, I think he said tissue. The point is that the liquid has been injected. So now what would happen is he would have to go in there, and it wouldn't be like something that he could just find it and just take it out. That it would be like you're trying to get maple syrup out of a towel. I thought that was an amazing way to explain it. And then at the same point, I said, that is insane. I've seen different removals and things of that nature, and they do end up taking out a lot of that tissue because of how much of the product is still within there. Like, you can see how on some of the videos, like when you look at it, it's the image is supposed to be like brown, and you just see all this white stuff just around. I like to watch Botched, and I've watched that show that K. Michelle did on Lifetime, where they show like the damage that was done from these surgeries and how these board certified surgeons who are the best in their field try to help these people with their deformities. And it does sometimes cause other problems. One thing that I did appreciate the doctor telling her was his concern is that once he cuts into that tissue and he tries to remove these areas, that not only will it leave her deformed, but because it's liquid, it's going to come out of her body and it could go into areas that may cause more damage. There's no telling how her body will react to it. So he really wants her to make sure that this is what she wants to do. I don't think that Mulan is going to do it. I mean, we see her currently and she still has it. I think that she may have decided not to do it because that is a lot. We have Danielle, who is doing a personality test while she's talking on the phone to Morgan to find a man. They're talking about how Danielle is not affectionate, and she says she has complications with it and she needs work on it and she wants to better herself for the next person. Morgan kind of gives her a pep talk and tells her, like, look, part of the reason why you may be this way is because of your previous relationship. Also, you were raised with a father that had you in a lot of athletics and stuff like that. So it may just be harder for you to get that side of yourself, but you will tap into it once you meet someone who gives you those needs. They talk about the speed dating thing. She's going to go. We see Morgan and Nikki join Danny for speed dating. We see them talk to all these different people. Morgan is wiping sweat off of this one man, and as she's doing it, her titty pops out. That same person that happened around is talking to Nikki, and he gets up and gives Nikki a massage. They're told to pick their men. Nikki and Morgan and another young lady that was in there picked the same guy. I'm going to assume that he didn't pick either one of them because we don't see the results of who he picks. We later see Danny on a date, and it is not with the individual who she picked at the speed dating. Instead, this is a different guy that she sees from time to time, who we find out is a sports agent. He wants a woman that is driven about her goals and her kids. He is 31 and he's ready to settle down. Danny says that they vibe and she enjoys his company and she wants the same thing. We don't know what's going to happen with them, but that's the end of that date. We have Ashley. Ashley is getting ready to go to the Today Show to talk about her husband's autism. She reminds us again that they found out when he was 30, so they're telling others about it so they can see him and they could see, you know, like you can overcome this and all these other things. They want to impact others as well as show their children anything is possible. I have to be honest, I understand the meaning of this scene. As I said before, there are people in my family, like my immediate family, who struggle with autism, who are on the spectrum, but I just sometimes struggle with receiving this from Ashley because even though she is the mother of an autistic child and the wife of an autistic husband, I just want to make sure that this isn't just about her showing like she's good. I want her to really want to do this because she really, truly wants to make a difference, because sometimes she makes statements like, her husband can show people that this is possible. He's the only one in the NBA who has this and all these other things. And you don't really know that. He might be the only person who came out and said it. There might be others who also don't know. Like, you just don't know. There could be people in other, you know, sports, the MLB, the NFL, that also are on the spectrum for different things or have other, you know, disabilities that people may not know about. So I sometimes when she says certain things, I'm like, okay, you just really feel like she overly hypes her man. Be proud of him, be proud of your family, be proud of what you're doing for the community, but don't lose focus. I guess that's my main thing. Don't lose focus on the reason why you're really doing it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's something about it that just doesn't rub me right when she does it. We then have Megan. Megan is doing a promo shoot for her podcast. It's going to be a live event in Orlando. This is her first time doing a live event. And she's inviting some other co-hosts from another show, Cocktails, to help. Later in the episode, we see her doing a run-through with the host. They've done this before, so they're giving her advice as to what will help the show. The show seemed really dry to me, if I'm being honest, but we'll keep going. Megan is inviting the girls because, in my opinion, production said so, but she's inviting everyone, even Mulan, who she's not getting along with. Phr is going to be a guest because, as we've seen him on the internet, he's into kinky things like being put in a dog cage and walking around on all fours and having, you know, things done to his backside and, you know, stuff like that. Megan lets the ladies know that Nikki will be in the audience and that's his ex-girlfriend. So she could let the co-host know this, but she couldn't let Nikki know, which is messy. If Megan is truly a friend of Nikki, she should have told her. Megan claims she doesn't want to tell her because she doesn't want to be talked out of it. She doesn't want Nikki to not come or to make a scene or any of those things. So she obviously doesn't care. It's now the night of the event. People are showing up in their sexy outfits. Ashley says she wants to see how Megan is going to do this podcast because she always acts like she's not messy or shady, even though everyone knows she is. Everyone shows up with the exception of Danny because she's on a date and Neek because she's sick. Neek really wasn't around for a lot of stuff, it seems. We then have Phr, who comes backstage. He speaks to Megan. He is calming her down and encouraging her and like, you know, it's not that large of a crowd. These are your supporters. And just, you know, relax and enjoy the moment. He speaks about living in his truth. And he says that he's realized over the years that a lot of his depression came from him not living in his truth. My opinion is, if this is what makes him happy, then so be it. I just don't want it to become a spectacle. They begin the show with a little burlesque, the women dancing around for the other ladies. They're being sexy. They're taking off their bras. I'm assuming they had, you know, posies or whatever on. Megan is introduced and she comes on the stage, and her first thing is to let everybody know that she wants the negative energy out the door. If you're going to cause any scenes or anything, you will be escorted out by security. She might have wanted to reconsider her guest list if she felt that way, but I get it. I think, as I said earlier, that production said you got to invite everybody. Mulan said when she makes a statement, she immediately thinks she's talking about her. She could have been talking about her and the audience as well because of the subject matter. You just don't know. Plus, you ladies don't know how to act. She then introduces Phr from Black Ink. The camera pans to Nikki. Nikki's smiling, but Nikki is bothered. Nikki said Megan could have told her they're supposed to be friends, but go off, sis. It's messy, if you know. That she may be bothered by the ex being there. If you knew that this was a possibility that she would try to talk you out of it, then the least you could have did was let her know. Nikki says that she's agitated. Phr lets the audience know that he is known for being a part of the BDSM community. He said he's into it all. Basic sex is boring. He likes to bow down and have a woman take control. As they're saying all this, of course, they're going to keep panning on to Nikki and the other ladies. When asked what he identifies as, he says he identifies as him. He just goes off of energy, which to me sounds like he's pansexual, but I guess he doesn't want to come out and say that. To each his own. He doesn't want a label put on him because Megan was, saying straight, and he was like, I know I'm me. Everybody else seems confused about it. I don't really think it was that big of a deal. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail about it because I don't feel like it was done properly. If you're going to have these type of discussions, you should allow your crowd to know what they're getting themselves into. They thought this was going to be like a sex talk show. I don't think that they knew that it was just going to be focused on one person. It just didn't feel like, it was all the way received. They asked him like, so how do you ask somebody for it, whatever? He's like, it's not a matter of asking. You just, lean back, and he spread his legs open. And the ladies had a reaction to that too. He says that one of the good things that has come from this is a lot of men are reaching out to him and thanking him for his transparency. I'm sure he also has the same amount of women probably saying other things, because looking at these women on this couch, it did seem like a lot of them weren't into it. I did see a lot of facials and things of that nature. And whether they want to admit it or not, it was some judgment coming off of those couches. Apparently Nikki expressed to Megan how Phr made her feel in the past. We see a clip of her saying how she felt like she wasted her good years with Phr. She was 24 years old and, he hurt her. So she says she feels like at this moment that Megan is capitalizing off of this. And I don't know if she is or she isn't, because she didn't even charge for the event. If anything, she got to capitalize because VH1 filmed it, but I still have no intention, and I'm on YouTube. I have no intention to watch Megan's podcast because I do think Megan is messy. I used to like her on Bad Girls Club, but after seeing her on a few other shows, I'm just not into it. All the ladies feel like it wasn't right and like Megan isn't a good friend, and we're going to see next week how everything turns out. You all, if there's something you want to discuss and I didn't mention it, put it down below. As I said earlier in the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I am on the road to 1,000 and I'd like to get to it sooner than later. Until next time.